Hey, welcome to the Riot Podcast. How you doing?
Happy Thursday, everyone. Which you might hear in a moment how I don't understand. If it didn't make it into the podcast, then that's fine.
I put it in there.
So more to come.
Nikki has a bit of normally the show starts with a complaint from me. Nikki had one today, and I wanted to make sure it got out there.
I don't even know if it's a complaint. It's just
It's a complaint.
Is it under that? Okay. Well, more to come on that, so you'll hear more.
Okay, so we talk that. We talk about Canadian healthcare. Look, I don't mean to be so whatever about it, but it's just everybody says such good things about Canada all the time, and they always crap on the United States.
For our health care?
Yeah. I just want you to know, Canada's got a black eye on this one.
This shows us that maybe there's more problems than we realize with theirs.
We talk about Lecrae and Garth Brooks and Lady Gaga, Johnson & Johnson.
With a new vaccine.
Shoe shopping.
With a new vaccine.
Searching for Reese's. With a new vaccine. No.
Yeah.
Really expensive office chairs, Spider-Man, what the riot has in common with President Clinton, favorite carry-out foods, Netflix subscribers. I can't talk.
You're doing great. Why don't we just wrap it up on that?
Yeah, there's more. You'll get it.
Enjoy the podcast today. Text hello 877 to RadioU. Say, hey, I'm a podcast listener, and put your name on there. And we hope you enjoy the podcast for today.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Normally, this is the time of the show where I get in whatever my daily gripe is first thing.
Yeah, it's a tradition.
But when I came in, somebody else had a little gripe, and I want to give her the time and the spotlight to shine.
Oh, that's sweet of you.
So, Nikki, how are you doing today?
Why is it not Friday? Why is it Thursday? Does anybody else feel passionate about that it's wrong, something's amiss? I mean, I understand because we did not have work on Monday. We were off that day. And I know that bites you later in the week, but
it always does.
I think it's wrong. Last night should have been Thursday night.
I feel that. Like, I could 100% get on board with not getting out of bed tomorrow.
Oh, it's rough. So
I could 100% be on board for that.
That was all I had. I mean, normally I'm pretty gripe-free, but I was just disappointed is the word I want to use. Disappointed in the week that it's not Friday yet.
Yeah. You know what? I feel that because last night, well, maybe not so much that it's not Friday, but just, I have a planner now.
Yeah.
But my planner is basically just a big, it has a date.
It's like a notebook planner.
Yes. And so I just kept writing things and writing. And after a while, I was writing in the margins and I was like, Thursday can't be like this.
What is this?
How are we supposed to fit all this in on Thursday? And it's like, it's because you didn't do Monday.
Yep, there it is.
The ghost of Monday has come forward to haunt the Thursday.
And it doesn't mean we don't want to say no to the Monday off in the future.
I know.
But this is just how it always is. I really felt like we should have already been done yet. Yeah, I should have already been to Friday.
You know what, Nikki? It's a shame the inauguration was yesterday because I could make you president right now. That's how on board I am with your agenda.
Some changes.
Yeah, let's make some changes.
These are real things that people can get behind. I would have skipped the day and just made it already Friday.
Yeah, I love that. And if you want to, we'll just go ahead. Does this have an autopilot on it? How about you and me just cut out of here?
Well, I don't think we should.
Okay.
But I don't want to.
Just remember, that's the choice you made.
I know. I'll stick with it.
What you're about to hear will live on the internet forever. Sorry, Internet. The worst of the Riot Podcast.
What is the one thing that we know for sure when it comes to Canada?
To Canada,
Do you know how?
I don't remember where it's at on the board. Chris changed our board last night. Everything has changed, so I can't play
take
the
a minute.
Canada. Oh,
take
Canada.
a minute and see if you can. Is it labeled somewhere? What do you want to try it?
There is that one for you. Oh, here you go. It's this one.
Hey!
Oh.
We got a bunch of new equipment, so
and it changed last night too. So I wasn't ready yet. I wasn't prepared.
I should have talked to you about it off air.
That's okay. You know what? It's a team thing, and we're fine.
We're fine. But in Canada, it's like everybody's nice and they always apologize and whatever. I just want you to know there's a dark, seedy underbelly to Canada. And I'm going to throw this out here. Socialized medicine, I always see where people, like, it's a constant never-ending stream of, like, see, in Canada, the hospitals are perfect and everyone's healthy and no one, I mean, it is a nonstop barrage of that. And then we have this. Did you see the video of the man crawling out of the hospital?
No, what is that?
Okay. Wait, Chris said that I could throw this to this screen.
Oh, so I can watch. See, we have all this new tech stuff here. There's this big screen that I can see that he can control. I can watch it.
Okay, do you see the man right there?
Is that the guy crawling out of the hospital?
This is a nurse telling him he's a big boy. He can do it.
No way.
Way.
Is that the exact words?
Well,
or
I mean,
pretty much paraphrasing it?
I mean, that's what he says.
Oh, my
There's
gosh.
no audio on the clips. You can't hear it, but he says that's what the nurse was saying to him. She comes out several times. Finally, a security guard helps him get in a taxi.
Well, okay, so like in our hospitals here, you're supposed to take a wheelchair out. You know,
Well,
but was he not a patient or something?
He came in struggling.
Yeah.
They did an MRI and they were like, look, you're fine. Just they made him meet with a psychiatrist and then made him leave.
And he was just crawling out?
Yeah, and so he was in so much pain, he crawled out of the hospital. They refused to help him because they said he was fine. And so a couple of weeks later or whatever, he ended up going to another hospital where he was diagnosed with a rare nerve disorder. And so he actually was in enormous pain.
Oh, my gosh. Is he going to sue the other hospital? Or?
I don't know how that works in Canada because everybody there is so nice and everything's so perfect all the time.
It's not. Every place is not. And that shows you. Oh, my gosh, that nurse should be ashamed.
It's rough,
It's
right?
weird to see it like you just as a human being, all right, medical stuff to the side, like you would just help someone if they were crawling on the floor.
I mean, I get the toughness of it if you're just convinced that this guy is like...
And they must see a lot of people who come in for things and for like, you know, pain medicine, and they're just trying to abuse the system. I'm sure they deal with that all the time, but they still have to, I don't know, help the man out or try to figure it out. I'm not sure.
I just feel like, again, I'm constantly being inundated with like little memes about how one, Canada's so nice, and two, everyone in Canada is always healthy and gets everything they want paid for. Like, I just want you to know, here's one instance where this guy was allowed to crawl out of the hospital and eventually helped into a taxi.
And what did they say? Told to be a big boy?
Be a big boy. You can do it.
Boy. Oh, my gosh. It hurts to see it.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is not that we're so much better, just that, you know, even though the internet tells you America's the worst and other places are the best, they got their problems.
It's not as bad.
They got their problems.
But it also shows you that, yes, there are problems like this every single place. Oh, I don't want to see the clip of it anymore. Or
Okay,
it's so bad to see the guy out just crawling on the... Thanks for putting it away. Good.
Yeah. Nikki and I have a shared screen now. It's weird.
Ooh,
And
let's do that more.
We figured out how to play the Canada music.
We put our big show on today. We're really trying our best.
It's happening.
This is Radio U's Worst of the Riot.
I saw Lecrae on Twitter yesterday said that this was his first Garth Brooks concert.
Oh, from Garth Brooks performing yesterday?
At the inauguration.
Yes.
Yeah, and the thing that I didn't see him talking about, but I'll tell you, is really on people's minds today is, do you think Garth Brooks got hair plugs for the inauguration?
That is what people were saying. They were saying that I don't recall if I've seen him before, so I didn't know, like, that was his look, but he had less hair, I guess, in the past, and now he has hair.
Now he has more.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel like celebrities should just get out there and own it. Because
like if he did get something done?
Everybody's picking at him all the time. They just be out there and be like, hey, getting hair plugs.
Well, maybe he got it. Now,
women get out there and be like, hey, facelift.
Now, sometimes,
like, whatever the heck you're getting done.
On TikTok or like Instagram, you see the things where they shave the top of the head and then they add the hair and then they just like glue it down.
No, I haven't seen that.
Maybe that's
he
like,
did that.
Yeah, maybe it's not like where they transplant stuff.
Oh, so you're saying maybe he got like a hair piece?
Yeah, something like that.
Like
I think there's like a modern
hair club for men.
There's like a more modern term for it, but I just don't know what it is.
Toupee?
No, more modern than that. No. So maybe he didn't have like the whole surgery. Maybe it's just something he can change in and out.
Maybe you can.
Yeah, like extensions.
There are actually several prominent Hollywood figures, actors, that they're just always wearing a different wig.
Sure.
And I was reading one where he's like, yeah, it's great. Like, I can do all kinds of roles. You just show up in a different wig. I don't care. I was like, you know what? Sure.
All right.
Why not?
But why do we have to make fun of everybody? But I did see that yesterday that people were, and it's not making fun of, but when you bring it up, I think that's when you're saying, oh, just don't mention it. Don't bring it up.
I don't know. I get it. It's like, shut up, Costanza. We know you're bald. That's what.
Is that a line?
It's a Seinfeld thing. But you know what? Whatever. Like, did you watch any of the inauguration?
I did not.
Yeah.
I did not see anything.
The other thing, I mean, there were obviously lots of things we could talk about on social media, but the Lady Gaga Hunger Games connection was real.
Is that the pin thing?
It was real. Because I saw a photo of it, and I mean, without any prompting, that's what I thought. I was like, "Oh my gosh, the Capitol is starting the Hunger Games. They're gonna send us from the districts."
I like how it, to someone that's their job to like create this look or the hair and the outfit and everything, and they're like, "Oh, I just hope everybody likes it," and then it gets unveiled, and then you just get to see the response everybody has towards what you picked.
To be clear, I thought her outfit looked very nice, and she did a great job, but I also feared slightly for my life.
You were wondering just what was starting.
No big deal. It's fine. It's fine.
We've got an archive of everything stupid the Riot has ever said at your fingertips. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Just another instance in the studio where whatever you guys imagine our downtime is like, it's exactly like that.
Oh, you think that's what they think we're talking about? All the time?
Nikki and I are just sitting here off air, and she's like, you know those new Reese's Sticks?
I don't think they're new, but I just want to make sure that you're aware of them.
That they exist.
Yeah, it's these Reese's Sticks, and man, that's what the evenings have been all about.
You've been having some Reese's Sticks?
An evening stick.
Just a little something.
Just a little something. They're so good because Obi and I are, well, at least I am. I really like Kit Kats.
Yes.
So it's like a Reese's and a Kit Kat put together. Yeah.
I have been trying really hard to find, and by trying really hard, I mean continually going into gas stations everywhere. To find those Reese's morning
snack cakes?
Yeah,
you haven't seen them yet?
Have you?
I only saw them once, but I didn't get them, and I'm kicking myself because we should have. But the snack cakes, which are not an evening afternoon thing, like Reese's
they're supposed to be a morning.
Well, they're supposed to be a mid-morning sort of pick-me-up sort of snack, but they're not like supposed to be a thing you think of as a candy bar.
Well,
but they're not in grocery stores. They're just in gas stations. So, like, you're supposed to stop off and just grab one.
I can't find them anywhere. I've tried. Now, I'll keep my eyes open, but it's funny. Every time I go in, I'm like, okay, remember to look for the Reese things.
Maybe they're all gone by now.
And maybe they are.
I couldn't recall if they were limited or if it was just like a new thing that was always going to stay.
I don't know. If they were limited, boy, they were really limited.
If anybody sees them again, just shout out and let us know where you see them at.
Well, but then again, I had a solid month where I wasn't in gas stations. I lost my platinum status.
You lost
my star status or whatever. Yeah, like it's gone. I got it back, but that could have been the time that I needed to be there to get them.
So if you're like, oh, do Opie and Nikki talk about which sort of topics when the songs are playing? It's just, candy bar talk.
It's the same. I found last night, I don't know how it got in there, but I was like putting away laundry and keeping in mind that maybe it's been a month since I put laundry away. I don't know. But I found.
Did you find candy?
No, it's worse.
Cookies?
Inside, like just mixed in with my laundry, I found an unopened Little Debbie Christmas tree.
Oh my gosh, you did?
You better believe it got eaten. It was just like, oh my gosh.
So technically
it's a Christmas miracle.
So technically you haven't put all your Christmas stuff away then if that was something you still found.
Still, the tree was still up, friends.
Oh my gosh, how exciting to find just a surprise Little Debbie Christmas tree. In the laundry.
It was just like my past self was hiding little treats around the house for me to discover later. Tenet too, okay? I was living the dream.
And you ate it.
Oh, I mean, I wasn't about to look that gift horse in the mouth. It was like, wow.
That was a miracle.
There's a free Christmas tree right here with my underwear, I guess. It wasn't. It was socks, but still.
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Kind of a tough mental health day for me yesterday. And I don't know if it's a matter of like some of these are symptoms of depression. Some of them could be I've been having some like weird COVID resurgence where I've been dealing with a bunch of fatigue and a lot of other things. So yesterday after the show, I laid down and slept in the building for a little while.
Yeah?
Yes. And then I got up and went home. And when I got home, I had plenty of things to do. And I was like, I can't.
Oh, it is that
can't.
tired thing again.
And so I laid down and slept for a little while and then, got up and got a cup of coffee and went on. And, feelings of worthlessness, helplessness, guilt. That's a weird one with me and depression. I'll feel incredibly guilty. And I have to constantly remind myself I haven't done anything. Like this is ridiculous. It's just my brain, just whatever. And so yesterday I asked God for help and an angel appeared and there was amazing music and they touched my forehead and then I was fine.
Is that what happened?
12:02 p.m.
Was that during your nap time and maybe you dreamt all of that?
It wasn't. A lot of people, I get frustrated and I understand it. But there is, I find sometimes a mentality with a lot of people that you think that if God is going to do something, it's going to be something big.
It has to be in that way.
And it has to be big. And because you know God, then you can never struggle. You can never have difficulty. Everything must be, I say a couple of words and the snap of a finger and it's all over. And the reality of it is that God will help us if we ask, period. I'm telling you right now, if you need help today and you ask him, God is going to help you. He may not show up with a suitcase full of money. An angel may not touch your forehead. I mean, these are things I didn't experience yesterday. What I experienced was some difficulty, asking God for help, getting up, not wanting to do the thing, having to do the thing anyway, having to push through and do these things. And it was funny, though, when I got done, I looked back and I was like, I can't believe it. Like, I did it. We made it. I made it through the day. I did this thing. And it was like I could see very clearly that God had been involved and was helping me. Again, was it something enormous? No, I feel like it was tiny shoves. It was little helps. It was places where, in a lot of ways, it was like mentally I was climbing a hill. And I still had to climb the hill, but I had a hand to hold on to while I was climbing the hill. So instead of having to do it alone, I had help. Maybe that's not the exciting discussion you wanted this morning. I get it. Believe me, I do. But I want you to know that if you need help today, I can't dictate and tell you exactly what God is going to do. But the God that helped me yesterday is the same God that's going to help me today. And Jesus is going to help you today if you ask. If you know him, hey, just get to asking. If you don't know him, start. You can say, Jesus, I want that. I want a hand to hold. I want somebody to help me. Come into my life. Fill me with your spirit. I want to have a relationship with you. It's a great place to start. And God is going to help you if you ask him.
The worst of the worst. Are you ready? The Riot Podcast. Radio U. Radio U. Radio U.
Remember, you can, of course, join us at RadioU.com. Send us a text. Say, hey, talk to us about your COVID vaccine. How's it going?
Actually, you guys usually tell us if you do get one.
Yeah, come on.
There's been quite a few people who've gotten the first one, and now at this point, we're getting a lot of notifications from people getting their second one. It's been that long.
So they say, well, right now, the one that's out there, I believe, is it the Pfizer one?
There's two.
Yeah.
And then like the M1 or whatever, the other company. But those are the two main ones.
Yeah, but they're both two shots, though, so far, right? Okay, well, Johnson & Johnson, the makers of your favorite baby powder, they say that they have a single shot that uses a technology called vectoring.
Yeah, it's actually a really interesting read. Peter, one of our listeners, sent it to us. It's interesting to read about this.
So here's what Dr. Peter Chin-Hong, an infectious disease specialist from San Francisco says, it's like a spaceship. It brings the genetic code to the cell, and then the cell sees the genetic and all of a sudden starts making the spike proteins. These spike proteins won't make you sick, but they're enough to familiarize your immune system and to produce antibodies against defensive and to create defensive cells.
So they're saying their spaceship of vaccine is different on how it goes through your body, where the other two vaccines that are out now are surrounded by tiny bubbles of fat. And so those tiny bubbles,
they're emulsified. That's the word.
Well, people are saying if you do get a reaction to the vaccines, you're probably getting a reaction to the bubbles of fat that are going through your body, maybe not necessarily the vaccine itself. So for this one, it's a one dose, and there isn't the likelihood of having a reaction to this one would be a lot less.
Well, Nikki,
because they don't use that delivery.
Real talk, I don't think my body's going to react poorly to bubbles of fat.
It's not the same.
It's
not the same as that. They're oily bubbles. So it's not just like, oh, well, we have enough extra stuff. It won't notice anymore.
My body will just be like, welcome home.
Yeah, hey, we get more party time.
We've been making room for you for years.
So they're saying that might be a new one. Some say in a few weeks. Some say maybe next month or two. But I thought that one was an interesting one.
Yeah, they're working on it. So have you thought about the vaccine yet? Are you thinking about taking it? Not sure?
The one issue I have is I'm afraid of an allergic reaction.
Sure.
And I don't talk about this much, but I don't get it for cosmetic purposes, but I do get Botox for migraines in my jaw.
Yeah.
And the one causes usually more of a reaction if you have those fillers in you. Mm-hmm. And I do. I don't have a lot, but I
enough
do.
To be a problem.
Enough to where I'd be slightly worried about it. So then you're supposed to take the other one. But I might wait for this one. This one seems more...
It's a nice one.
Yeah, less reaction-wise. I do tend to get a lot of allergic reactions, so I want the one that will least likely have that.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Right now I saw that in our home state, they're allowing people over, was it 80 or 85 to start getting the vaccine. So We've got
a ways to go. I looked at the chart. Our age wasn't even on the chart. It was like, wait a minute. So our boss was like, yeah, isn't that? Nope, we're never coming soon.
Yeah. So sometime by the end of next year, we should definitely have that opportunity.
I think there's going to be an opportunity for a lot of other options to come out before they start telling us we could even be possible for the vaccine. I noticed that too. I was like, wow, that's a lot of older ages.
Ain't no lie.
And that's fine too.
It's fine.
We would give the Riot flowers to show our appreciation, but Obadiah's probably allergic. What isn't he allergic to? This is the Riot on Radio U.
I mean, this is what you tune in for. We're talking shoes.
Well, it is vital to the show, and we all wear them, so why not?
So I have been looking around for a pair of basically indoor soccer shoes because I can't let go. I just like them, okay? Fat guy wearing indoor shoes. You're like, oh, he played in high school. Yeah, he's obviously not playing now.
Did you let her? He had...
I did, thank you.
You did. Good.
Thanks. I did. And you know what? Back then, I was pretty proud of it. I was like, yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did. You got that.
Oh, man, you guys want to hear a sad story? I went on a college visit, and, of course, it showed up like that I played varsity soccer. And so, like... when I went to have lunch or whatever, they're like, there's the soccer coach. And I just told the guy, I was like, look,
we're not continuing.
I was like, I just want you to know it's so kind of you to be here. But like, I'll never be good enough to play on your team. And of course, there's somebody there.
They think you're humble.
No, there's somebody there from admissions. And so they're like, the coach has to be like, well, you never know, son. And I'm just like, no, I know. Okay.
I only am here to wear the shoes.
Come on down to the gym and play indoor with us tonight. And I'm like, all right, fine. So I did. And after like 20 minutes, and they had to take me out on a stretcher. I'm 17. I couldn't keep up with the real athletes.
So that was a no.
And it was just like, I never talked to that coach again ever. And that's okay.
That's all right.
That's fine.
But for him, he still wears these, Adidas or Puma has these indoor style soccer shoes. Yeah. And that's what he's been looking for since the ones you have are done with.
Well, it never occurred to me. Well, first off, let's say hi to Stacy. Stacy says, with all the effort that was put into convincing Nikki to wear the perfect pair of Crocs, you should totally post a photo of the Adidas shoe you wear. Let the RadioU fan base locate the shoe for you. Well, you know what?
Just because they're older and not in stock most places anymore, so it's harder to find.
This did not occur to me, but now it makes total sense. You can't get them at basically shoe stores. You need to go to a sporting goods store.
No way.
That makes total sense now. But
whoa! So they are. Did you find them?
It looks like I might be able to get some at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited! And you can go to the store.
Yeah, they open at a time that's reasonable. So
after the show, you could go.
I could potentially go over there and buy a pair of shoes.
That's great.
This could be the answer to all my problems.
Stacey, thank you for kicking that off and not letting us just drop this and continuing so that Obi found out.
Yeah. Also, Ben just sent me a link on Amazon. But Ben, if you'll look, they're not in stock until March 5th.
You could wait, I bet.
Well, let's be clear. I've waited.
I know you could.
But, okay, the other question that came to mind is, is there a shoe shortage? Is there a COVID shoe shortage that's happening right now?
No, I just think a lot of in-stock stuff is harder to find for athletic wear.
Because I actually went to an Adidas store yesterday.
And it was shorter
stuff? They had 3 pair of shoes. And then they were like, yes, and we have all the sizes from 6 and below that you can wear. It's like, oh, wow, it's great here.
Great.
What if we take 2 of the shoes and tape them together?
So what size do you wear?
10.5. 10.5.
Okay.
I think.
There's different.
What are the,
you could have these by February 1st for $113.
I don't even think these shoes smell that bad.
No, your shoes have held up.
For 3.5 years? Get out of here. Okay, these are 11s.
You wear 11s? Okay. I'll look there.
So
this is great. You can still maybe get these.
See, look at how nice that tread's holding up-ish.
Yeah, it looks like because you'd have to buy it from another seller, it'd be $114 plus $10 shipping.
No,
you need to find them at a store.
Yeah, I'll just go to a store.
They normally are $40-something, so that's a big markup.
Man, Nikki, I'm like the Israelites out in the desert. My clothes don't go bad. Look at that. 40 years I've been wearing the same shoes.
Well, 3 years. It is impressive, but it is time for some new ones.
Fine. I get excited about how long I've been wearing these shoes.
I know, but we get to this point usually in February and March where you talk about buying new shoes and you don't get them. So we need to make that happen.
I've been doing that for the last 3 years.
You have.
Talking about it.
But not doing
getting
anything.
it. Do you know that it's easier to just keep doing the thing you're doing than to make a change?
We don't need any other life lessons.
Okay, all right. That's where I'm at.
Riot Podcast, RadioU.
Hey to Carl. He just texted and said, hey, Obi, at least you have normal-sized adult feet. I'm always competing with the growing teens, trying to find shoes for my size 7.5 child feet.
Oh, so if you have smaller shoe size.
You know what, Carl? Maybe everybody has their burden to bear, but can I just tell you, that'd be great. I feel like with a 7.5, I could get shoes on clearance or something.
You think so?
Well, let me tell you.
Is it normally just the smaller sizes?
Yesterday, while I was at the mall, you know me, mall guy, hanging out. I stopped in a couple of stores and I was like, yeah, I'll buy some T-shirts while I'm here. Yeah. I'm sorry, sir. Did you want something larger than a medium? That's
normally the sizes that are left. When they buy, say Adidas buys this shirt, they buy it in bulk. The normal sizes of a large, extra large, or even a 2X, those are never left when the shirt is being discontinued.
Well, I'll tell you, lots of medium shirts yesterday, shoes under the size of 6. Brian said he also, and these are all text messages. Again, you can text us, 877-2RadioU. He says he bought some indoor soccer shoes and that he also had a very difficult time finding them. He was wondering if maybe they were manufacturing fewer shoes.
Oh, for just that particular? No, I think just in general, shoes, clothing, just items. I don't know if things are just being made in less quantities because of COVID stuff, but it is hard to find things, or at least it's hard to find things in person.
It was a weird experience yesterday going to the mall, and it felt like I was on an episode of Abandoned Malls or something. All the lights were on, But I mean, there was maybe 2 or 3 other customers in the whole mall.
Oh, it was empty?
I mean, there probably were more than that, but I couldn't see them. I kept going into stores and you could see clerks are like,
someone's here.
are you real? Or am I just imagining this whole thing?
Hey, they were excited. Someone went in.
It was just like, hey, when's the last time you saw people? Anybody?
Well, Brian
Can we
was-
get you something to eat?
He was also mentioning that maybe because you want indoor soccer shoes, the production was maybe less because in most areas you're not supposed to be playing indoor soccer.
Yeah, don't worry. That's not going to be a problem.
He's not really wanting it for that reason. That's his day-to-day shoe.
It's an everyday wear. I don't know. Well, I'll go find out today. And thanks, Trevor, Ben, Brian, Carl, Stacy, Jerome, and Zach for saying, hey, this morning.
The Riot with Obadiah and Nikki on Radio U.
So if you're keeping up with the NBA, last week they had 11 new positive cases of COVID-19.
The NBA?
Yes, the NBA.
Okay.
So they ended up postponing some games because of those new positive cases. As a result, NBA league management is kind of sitting down like, okay, we're passing the bug. What are we going to do about it?
Sure.
So apparently they are going to, and I don't know if this is official yet or they're just discussing it, but it looks like they're going to be enforcing rules, that already exist, that they are not supposed to shake hands, hug, or have any mid-court contact.
Sure. I think what sometimes happens is they had rules in the beginning and people were really strong in enforcing them. As time goes on with COVID, I think with a lot of sporting stuff, and as people get excited and as they're playing, they forget, but I think they are not following a lot of those recommendations as well as they were in the beginning.
Right. But that's weird. People stop doing the thing.
I know, right? So I think they need the reminders about the reminders.
I think it's hard. When you get with friends and you're like, yeah, we should follow the COVID rules. When your friends, and most of these guys are to some extent, there's at least some camaraderie there. They've played on multiple teams. They've been at it for a while.
And I don't know how strong the NBA bubble is necessarily right now, but again, I think it was stronger in the beginning when people were saying, no, you can still have basketball, you can still have football, you can still do it, we can control it. But now that it's been somewhat controlled for so long, you're on the court, you want to say, hey, or people aren't maybe following the rules outside of the court as well.
Right. Well, you've got to figure the NBA is just, those players are just like we are. They're just people. And so, you've had some restrictions in place for a while and you've gotten, you followed them really hardcore, but we're not going to have to do this again next year, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's been a lot of players that have been talking about other players and the continuing of partying.
Right.
When there really shouldn't be the partying.
So then somebody's partying and then they're mid-courting and then the next thing you know,
there's another case. Yeah.
I can't breathe.
That's exactly. And then that's very frustrating. It's like we all feel. That's very frustrating then to have the problem become bigger while majority of people are following the rules as best as we can.
Yeah, it's tough.
It makes it hard.
It really is. It's just one of those things where it only takes one person getting it, and then it's so easily spreadable, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
so,
and then the rest are being super yelled at when you were, following the recommendations.
Well, if you're watching the NBA and you're like, why aren't people hugging?
No handshaking, no hugging, no court stuff.
No. And after a foul, and it's like, instead of shooting it out, we're going to hug it out. Not this time. No more of that, guys. It's off the list.
There are some people that shouldn't have their own podcast. And by some people, we mean these people. Radio U's Worst of the Riot podcast.
Wow.
What'd you find?
Well, okay. Nikki, you've got a home office, like a home space.
Yeah.
How much did you pay for your chair?
For my chair, maybe like $120.
That's
about it. You want it to be less, but you realize you're sitting in it. It's going to probably be at least that much. You can go way more, though.
Yeah, I was at Office Max or something when I went to get my new planner.
Yeah.
And, so I can ruin the year. And while I was there, they had like a whole big
section of
office chairs. So I just kind of looked around and sat in a couple of them. The top end was like $400, which to me, It's one of those things where, like, it seems like a lot of money, but I don't know if you're putting your butt in it for 8 hours a day for how many years.
I think if you're looking for something like that,
bad.
You have to realize that you can only go so low. You can only go so cheap on it.
Well, my current chair setup at home was brought to you by Eric and Nikki, who gave me a gaming chair. And it's been very comfortable. I like it. But how would you feel about a $1,500 Herman Miller Logitech G gaming chair?
So at this point, you're paying for names. Herman Miller, you're paying for Logitech. And if it's a gaming chair.
But is Herman Miller, is that
that's
expensive?
An office? Have you ever gone? We've been to a few hotels where they've had this Herman Miller chair, at the desk in it. It can be expensive. And you would probably know if you sat in one. It's just a name.
What, you'd sit down and be like, this is a Carl Fargman. A Herman Miller.
You would just know, if it was, they would put it.
There would be a little logo.
There'd be a little
they'd
logo
let you know that was a thing.
Hey, this Hilton decided to get you this nice, especially if you go to a hotel with business focus.
Yeah, sure.
Is that the ergonomic or something? It's showing you how it's good for your spine.
See how this looks like a human spine?
Yeah.
I think we're supposed to imagine that then it's good for our spine. The chair has a spine like me.
Well, that's worrisome. Where did it get it? What's at the bottom? Is that speakers or something? The little circle thing?
This here?
Yeah. Is that your headphones? Can you just put them in there?
I have no idea.
Is that how you raise and lower it?
Maybe. Maybe.
Well, I didn't know what made it a gaming chair. Does it have any other? If it's a Logitech one, what features does it have?
It doesn't necessarily. Calling something a gaming chair doesn't necessarily mean that it has stuff like that.
But if it's Logitech, it must. It must have something.
Not necessarily. Look at the blue.
The blue part. Is that cooling foam? What is it?
Well, it's blue.
It must have something. It's that much money. It has to have something electronic in it.
Oh, you're a sweet kid.
It can't be $1,500 for this chair.
All right. Well, Nikki, I think that how we said it has a spine?
Yeah.
I think that's a human spine that's been grown in a tank. That's what you're paying for.
So that's the money?
Yep. That's the money right there.
You know what's really bad is if you got into that so expensive chair for gaming and you didn't like it. If it wasn't comfortable
what
for
if you didn't like it?
What's wrong with you then? If it's so expensive, it must be amazing. It's like the new Apple over the head headphones and stuff.
What are the AirPods Max?
Yeah, if you didn't like it, what's wrong with you?
What does it mean?
It must be you.
I don't know. So, what do you say? Instead of buying new shoes, let's go out and buy a $1,200 office chair. What do you say?
That might be priced too high for what I want to spend.
Okay.
I'd actually feel pretty bad because I don't game. I also don't work apparently that hard in my office at home.
I'm not earning the kind of money that deserves a chair like this.
I don't need that. Now, if you do, well, then, if it's great for you, then that's perfect. That's just showing we're all different. We're all different office chairs.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let's say you have a friend that's been wearing the same shoes for 3.5 years.
Yes, and he's in the studio with me.
Do you think he's dropping $1,400 on his chair?
No, I do not think that.
Just checking in.
And I don't know anybody who would be, but interesting to say Herman Miller Logitech $1,500 office gaming chair. It's a gaming chair.
Well, and for a little work. Because gaming is work, probably.
So you can write it off for
yes.
your taxes or something?
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Not too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's The Riot on Radio U.
So what I've been trying to do in my personal life with video games is just play one at a time.
Oh, just play through it as far as possible.
I started doing this with books a couple of years ago where it was just look, if you start a book, you finish it. And if you've decided you're not going to finish it, then you completely set it aside. You don't set it there and pretend you're going to finish it. You just one or the other. And so as a result, I had until just a day or two ago not played Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
So now you're finally in it?
I'm finally playing it.
You knew you were going to love it.
I know. Do you know that seems like it's actually the reason why I didn't start it, where I was like, you know what? I know it's going to be good. Let's
Well, you didn't
Just
want
wait
to
on
start it and then have all the holiday stuff.
Yeah.
With all the extra work, but now you're clear.
I never imagined I would play Immortals Phoenix Rising for 50 hours, and I did. I'm telling you, that is like the most underrated game on shelves. I love that game. So much fun. And I finally moved on to Miles Morales, and it's great. It's so good. The writing is good. The voice acting is so good. Like, it looks so good. The gameplay is great. Miles Morales is such a cool guy. You're just like,
it's nice when it lives up to what you wanted it to be.
It's like, Miles, you're such a good guy. More people should be like you, Miles Morales. Fist bump, yes. I have been so enjoying it.
So do you think you'll put as many hours in as the Immortals game?
I don't think it's as long, like, because it's intended to be like a half game, I guess. Yeah. Like, it's not a full-blown thing. But, man, it's great. It looks so good. It plays really well. I've just been really enjoying it. So, I mean, I'm only, I think, about 2 months late on this.
Right on time.
But you know what? I'll tell you what, like, I've kind of given up on being on the bleeding edge of whatever. I mean, if there's a game that's coming out I really want to play, yes, I'm going to get it. But you know what? At Christmas, I bet I picked up 10 games because I got a PlayStation 5 and, I got a ton of games to go with it. And I bought a bunch of stuff on sale. So, yeah, like this summer, I'm going to be talking about the Final Fantasy VII Remake, finally, 2 years later.
Well, I think Cyberpunk, if it taught us anything, just reminded us that maybe you don't need to jump in right when something comes out
away.
The first day, that maybe it's not such a bad idea to wait a few months, get it a little cheaper, play through your other games, and then get into something once all the bugs have been figured out.
Well, I bought Cyberpunk and returned it.
Yeah.
Because they did that thing where they're like, yeah, go ahead and return it. And I was like, I'm not going to play this for a long time.
It's not ready yet.
I returned it. I was like, by the time I get to it, I'll bet this thing's $10.
But I bet you have a nice enough console where you would have probably been fine. But
I probably would have.
You got to teach him a lesson somehow.
That's
Send
right.
it back.
That's right.
Well, if you want to make sure to catch, Obi does have some Obadiah plays, so you can watch him every so often. Play some video games through our Facebook page. So if you go to RadioU Riot on Facebook and just go back through the videos, you'll see him and some of his stuff there.
Yeah, at some point I should probably, if I could get some time, get some a Miles Morales stream up there. Again, I know, like, you could watch anybody play it, but you can hang with me.
They want to watch you play it, especially because you like it.
I
Nothing's
love
worse than when you watch a stream of someone who doesn't actually enjoy the game.
Yeah. The other thing I'm going to throw out there is I said one game at a time, but it's really two. It's like my main line and then my side thing. I'm still playing Everybody's Golf.
You got a side game?
I play that every day.
You do?
I play it a 9-hole round of Everybody's Golf basically every day.
Well, you like it.
Almost every single night do I go and play. Last night I had 2 eagles. This is the craziest shot I've ever made. 150-yard eagle. What?
Imagine if you had that passion for like real golf, like
I know.
Outside physical golf.
Imagine if you had that real passion about anything that mattered in the world.
This does matter, and we're not questioning that, but imagine if you went and actually played golf every day.
Obadiah and Nikki tried their hardest, and that's what really matters. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Andy sent me a No, that's not the one.
Nathan did.
Sent me an absolutely spectacular meme of Godzilla and King Kong. Is there anything better than that?
I like when you guys see something and you're like, that's Obi or that's Nikki, and you guys send it. So
I love it.
We appreciate that a lot.
I love it. Also want to say hi to, Tiffany said, Everybody's Golf is the best.
Someone else likes the game too.
Yeah, come on.
It's not just you.
I love that game so much. I love it so much that I have thought about getting the PlayStation VR thing because they have Everybody's Golf VR. And I'm just like, man,
you
maybe
would
it
use
stinks,
that.
but I want to try it so badly.
Yeah.
I really want to try it. So, and then also want to say hi to Andy, who texted us a book that he's reading right now. Oh my gosh. You know what? While we're talking about what I'm doing, side note, Nikki, I am slowly but surely making my way through that book that I mentioned on the air a couple of weeks ago. It's so good.
You remember the title?
It's called Try Softer, and it's by Andy. Whoa!
There's so many Andys.
It's the Andy Show.
Insert hot fuzz.
Exactly. By Andy Kolber, but it's
good.
It's amazing. If you have been through any trauma with a big T or a little T, she talks about the effect it has on your nervous system, your brain, how to work through it.
How to respond.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Well,
I have learned so much from that book.
We all have been experiencing the result of how people are responding to so many things in the last, especially the last year, to where it's good to learn a little bit more about how even someone else's response can help if you decide to respond in a certain way. Like, you just have to be aware of it.
So it's good.
But you haven't finished it yet? You
No. You know what? I'm making my way through it because it's one of those things where, like, I'm highlighting, I'm rereading sections, I'm journaling. I'm really trying to learn from it.
Are people really still listening to the Riot? You don't have work to do or laundry to fold or literally anything else to do? The Riot, Radio U.
What do all of us, really, not just me, what do all of us have in common with Bill Clinton, Nikki?
Are we talking about from yesterday?
We're Americans.
Well,
okay,
yeah.
That's the first one.
That's one thing.
We're human. All right.
There's
okay.
another.
We're getting there.
There must be something else, though.
We fell asleep during the inauguration.
That's it. There it is.
Woo.
It just kind of works, doesn't it? I just feel like I wasn't surprised.
I love it so much.
It was everywhere yesterday where they just caught Bill Clinton either, just closing his eyes, thinking about things. Maybe
He's
with
praying,
his,
probably.
Yeah, just with his eyes closed. But,
No way, dude. He is zonked.
He's asleep.
He is zonked in the middle of all of that. I love it. So, it's fine. Admittedly, I really did fall asleep during the inauguration yesterday. I had it on and I was like,
You were just sleeping while it was on.
And I'll just lay down here.
But when you're a featured past president and someone, of course, they would putting the camera on, you should want to make sure that you were staying awake.
Since I'm an American like Bill Clinton, Nikki, I see an opportunity here. Where other people see a stumble, I'm looking at that going, Bill Clinton as the new spokesperson for 5-Hour Energy.
Can he do that?
I don't know.
I don't know if that fits the... Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything, I guess, to say to that.
Maybe he doesn't want to do it, but it's like, do you find yourself falling asleep at inappropriate times? Cut to footage of him sleeping during the inauguration. I used to have that problem too.
That I could see an energy drink company using just whatever free footage to not have it be where he was an actual,
or maybe you reenact it,
a paid person. Yeah, exactly. But they'd have their own fun way of us knowing what they were talking about.
Yeah. So he, he's just getting a little.
He's older, isn't he?
74. To be clear, 5 or 6, 7 years younger.
That's right. Never mind. Everybody's so old.
He's.
Oh.
I think he was in 6th grade when Biden was graduating high school, just for perspective.
I was surprised that everybody else wasn't asleep.
I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, you can't make the comment. It's because he's old, because he's surrounded by people his own age on stage.
He's young old there. He's young, even though he is still super old. Oh,
come on.
Jeez.
Right?
We have to have some younger things there. Younger people.
You got President Obama up there. I think he's in his 60s, right? Late 50s,
I still feel
60s.
like that. We all nap as in younger. We're, it's tough. We just nap. But I feel like even in the 60s and 70s, that's you have to nap. You kind of have to.
Well, normally this is his Price is Right nap. We just... we saw it there on camera. I can tell you right now, given my current endurance levels, I'll be lucky to be awake at all if I'm in my 70s.
I know. I don't know if it'll get any better. But when you're, again, a former president, they know they'd have a camera on you and all the other ones the whole time. So I bet they were so excited to get that he fell asleep.
It's perfect. I love it.
The Riot has now been downloaded. I hope you installed some antivirus. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, working at the CDC must not be any fun.
The Center for Disease Control, why do you think it would be? There would never be a good time.
Okay, you know how like NOAA, the national like weather people, they release their forecast? The CDC has released their death forecast for the next 2 months.
Well, that's awful. Why would we say that? They have that?
They have that.
That sounds like a scary movie name, by the way, doesn't it?
Death forecast? Oh my gosh, it's perfect.
It's awful. Like maybe it's a winter thing one, or I don't know if I feel like sci-fi, but like some sort of channel like that.
No, I got you. It's about a weather person, and we'll decide, whatever, but who gets so tired of being like beat up for the weather and it's not their fault.
Yeah.
And so they crack.
And then people die.
Yeah, but I think the twist is they crack and we keep thinking that they're the killer, but it actually turns out it's one of the production assistants.
That's something too.
All right. Like something they keep blacking out, waking up places they think it's their fault, but it's the PA.
No, they find out that it was the wind. That's the killer. Like it's got to have some of that weird element.
Yeah,
like it was the snow.
Okay.
Okay.
You know what? I
feel like we're getting sidetracked here. So
no, I think it's right on.
It's right on topic.
I think it's perfect.
Okay.
Like let's get on the script. Like as soon as the show's over, we need to break the script. Let's go.
It's just awful.
We're going into the writer's room. We're going to make this happen. But yeah, the only thing I will say, like they're talking about, and I'm not going to give numbers because it's Thursday, and they are saying that there's going to be this big spike in COVID.
So is it just about COVID, or do they release like forecasts for like the flu and everything combined?
This in particular is just for COVID
stuff.
But here's the thing that I have been surprised by is that I keep like basically from Thanksgiving to Christmas, they were like, we're going to have a post-holiday surge, the likes of which has never been seen. Mm-hmm. So I have been watching the numbers for the last 3 weeks. No surge.
Sure.
So okay, and again, listen, I'm just playing. We're just talking here. Okay, we're talking. I'm not trying to set up some kind of weird whatever, but they were 100% sure that it was going to rain on Friday, and it didn't. Mm-hmm. So what makes me think that when they tell me it's going to rain on Saturday, it will?
Well, I think they just have to tell you, because if not, they have to keep that out there to remind people that you wouldn't want it to happen, even if it doesn't end up following that path like they think.
Okay.
They can't go and say, well, it's not going to be as bad as we thought, because then everybody would loosen the reins.
Right. So the argument would be, hey, we warned you for 3 weeks, and the lack of a surge shows that it worked.
Then people, people are going to have a hard time with no matter what they say.
So what you're saying is, as a weather person, it seems like no matter what you say, you can't win.
Yeah, exactly.
So you find yourself frustrated.
Yep.
And you find yourself beginning.
Nope, that was just a side idea. No, that's not it.
Okay, but yeah. All right. Well, I'm just looking at these are just, I don't have a conclusion. These are just thoughts I'm processing the news. We're processing live.
That's what everybody has to do.
Yeah. So in the meantime, hate me all you want. I'm wearing my mask and I'm washing my hands. Woo! And I'm having COVID recurrent symptoms. Getting more tests.
Oh, no.
On a first-name basis with the receptionist at the doctor.
You got it all.
The Riot is well-versed on many different topics.
They're shy at first, but they're quite skilled at conversation.
This is The Riot on RadioU.
And there's nothing more pressing in the world today than arguing over what is the most popular takeout in the world.
Yay, what is it?
So,
or is
Nikki,
it a state by state, or is it just the top around the world?
This is the world. They say that in the world, that pizza is number one.
Yeah, I could see that. Absolutely.
Now, yeah. Second place, though, Chinese food.
Yeah, there it is. Strong showing.
I have been having a real, legit craving
for Chinese food.
Mm-hmm. I really have.
Well, our problem is we had one problematic location of a place near us have a certain, what we would call a health code violation that we didn't like. And I don't feel like there's been any other places nearby for the price and the quantity you would get with it. We have plenty of other Chinese food restaurants that are amazing, but they're more expensive, and you get a very small amount compared to what we used to get.
I just would like to go. There was a Chinese restaurant not far from us that closed, and they have other locations.
Yeah.
But the one near us is closed, and that is That's just straight up tragic.
It's a shame, isn't it?
It is.
Because that was good, too. And then we had another one we liked, but it also had health code violations. And you have to then weigh.
We didn't all like that one.
I like that one.
Yeah, but it wasn't good.
But you have to weigh like how many years has it been? And then we had the other buffet place, and it had its violations, and you just have to know when to go and know when to fold them, right?
That's right. I just want to, I feel like the one place, it's down by Micro Center now. That's the one where I go. I'm down, man, that's like the field trip of dreams. You go to the computer store and you get Chinese food. Like, come on.
But they also have the one
Tell
near the
me
movie
a better
theater.
lunch than that. Come on.
They have another location.
Yeah, there's one by the movie theater that we don't go see movies anymore.
That's just sad when you go near there.
So other popular takeouts around the world. This is by
pizza?
country, and they use Google search trends.
Sure.
So, I mean, we could argue the validity.
This feels right, though. So you had pizza and then Chinese food.
Yeah, pizza was at the top, but in North America, in the United States and Mexico, Chinese was number one.
Yeah.
Then in Canada, what do you think their number one was? I'll just give you a hint. It's not Chinese or pizza.
It's not Chinese or pizza. I don't know. Indian food?
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips?
Fish and chips.
In Canada?
In Canada.
Really? Are we
That's
sure?
That's where it starts to feel like it's falling apart.
I don't know. Are we talking like chips as in chips or chips as in fries? Like,
So-
what do they do there?
Well, yeah,
Is it like poutine,
it
like
would
fries?
Be fries, I imagine.
Fries, okay.
Okay, so let's do a couple more breakdowns. Top carry away food, takeaway, takeout in China, Chinese food. Feels a little on the nose, right?
It feels perfect.
Yeah. But in Saudi Arabia, pizza. India, pizza.
Yeah.
Let's see. Brazil, no, they went with Chinese food. But I mean,
It's basically pizza or Chinese food. That's the top takeouts.
if you look at Europe, I thought we would be pizza as Americans. Or hamburgers or something. But no, we're not. But if you look at Europe, they're all pizza there.
So what do they
Everybody,
count?
it is just a big pizza fest.
What do they count as takeout? Is it like delivery or when we go to the pizza place and pick it up? Is it like a drive-through place?
I think it would be both.
It'd be both.
I think so. I think that would be delivery or
DiGiorno?
carry out. Shut up.
It worked.
It does. It does.
I mean,
That's
it's
how
not
they're winning. That's how pizza is winning. DiGiorno is killing it in Europe right now.
That's it.
They're killing it in Europe. They're an unstoppable force. DiGiorno.
Why don't you look down at the bottom of this article and see what is brought to you by?
DiGiorno.
Oh, I can see it happening.
Man, I'm starving. When do we eat? Anybody? I'm going to go to the break room. I'll be right back.
There's stuff in there. You'll find something.
I'm not kidding either. I'm really hungry. I'm going to go get a snack.
You're listening to the worst of the riot. Radio U.
Netflix is about to raise their prices, Nikki. You know that, right?
Yay!
You're about to get a chance.
Yeah, we knew about this, right? This isn't like, when was the last one?
Last year?
Last year? Okay, I feel like maybe then I'm thinking when this news started to break, I just feel like it's happening more often now.
Yeah, I mean, they announced it, but it wasn't until
It's
this
not until
month.
February.
Like, it's February 1st, I guess, basically, that it's going to take place. So everything's getting a little extra. So if you're on a standard plan, you're going to go to $13.99 a month, so $14 a month. If you're on a premium plan,
Premium pricing.
you're up to $18 a month.
Really? Are we there? That's what we have, right? No, we have the 4K one.
That's what the premium is.
That's the premium one?
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing that gets me about this is that, I forget this, but I used to make fun of people for paying $15 for HBO, and because Netflix was $8. And it was like, why on this earth would you pay all that? $8. Look what it gets me.
They've done the increasing.
We're now up to 18.
We talked about 20 being the glass like the glass ceiling. Are we going to go through that?
Absolutely.
Or you think
absolutely.
Would you pay that
No.
to go through? Okay, so that's
I don't think so. I mean,
break.
they've been turning the temperature up just a little.
We're
Just a little
frogs
bits at
in
a
the
time.
pot. That's all we are.
But at some point, God, I don't watch Netflix. The only thing I'm watching on there, I'd be better off picking the stuff that I watch, buying the digital copies or whatever, and just having access to them that way.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on how you're using Netflix. Because if you are watching a lot of the Netflix originals or the things that they bought, I think they could bring that down a bit. I don't think we need to have all that because they have a lot.
Well, but Nikki, you and we could be outliers.
Maybe.
Like the fact that, you and I are early risers already. Like we're members of the media. There are all these things that separate us from probably the average
person
Netflix user. But for me, like, dude, I don't.
See, for me, they bought, like, I watch a lot of television, like TV shows from South Korea, and they buy a lot now.
Yes.
So I dumped one of my other apps that was like $6-7, and now I just watch it usually on their stuff. So
then you should subtract that from the amount you're paying for Netflix and look at the savings.
I do actually think I'm still okay to keep going with it, but if they cross over 20 anytime soon, that's way more than we started off with.
I don't know. I just every time they're like, we've got a new Netflix movie, I feel like I've been burned enough where I'm like, I'll check it out. I'm like, this sucks. I'll check it out. This sucks. I'll check it out. I don't like it.
You mean they're consistent with their product?
I don't know.
So what was the other news?
They just crossed 200 million subscribers worldwide.
200 million.
That's a lot.
It is weird when you still come across someone who does not have it, but there's plenty of people who don't have like the internet speed to do it, or you're still on someone else's account. So technically it's the numbers could still rise because you don't have your own, you're just using someone else's.
I've got family members in Oregon and Tennessee that can't get it because
of where they live.
They can't get an internet that's fast enough. And I mean,
so they don't know any of the Netflix stuff.
Yeah. Their whole militia doesn't know anything about what's happening on that.
It's not like that. I mean, maybe in the area, but it's not.
It's not them, though.
Oh, no, it's not. Do they have flags like all the ones?
They don't.
Okay, good.
No. So I told them, I was like, guys, you just need to. The last time I was at their house, when I needed to download something, I just kept driving to McDonald's. It was like 8 miles away, but free Wi-Fi.
Well, that's bad when that's the
go-to?
place you have to go to.
Ate a lot of French fries on that trip.
Well, you would have anyways.
Not as much as I did. But that being said, I sure did enjoy it.
It's a vacation. You eat fries.
The Riot, not everyone's fan.
I wonder whose idea this was.
Radio U.
I got one from Adam here. He says, random thought, but this is normally the time of year for us to be training for the fight for air climb. Going to miss being able to do that this year. And you're right. I thought about that yesterday. I ended up going to the gym. I'm always out of shape, but I'm more out of shape now.
Are you going back more often?
I'm
or
trying
is it still...
to. But remember last week
I was sick.
I managed to get to the gym 4 times the previous week. Last week, no gym trips because I was sick. And then yesterday finally made it back in. And so I've been doing the elliptical, which... Can I just be real? I'm sorry. I always feel like the elliptical is like a cop-out workout. Like it's not hard enough. It's not.
It is, though. Isn't it more cardio than you realize? Or?
Well, I'll tell you this. I've been doing interval, like high-intensity interval training on the elliptical, and I've been getting I think a pretty good workout.
Yeah.
Maybe not as good if I was out running sprints or something, but it's been all right. So that and a little bit of weight training. But I am with you, Adam. Normally this time it would be like you get your butt on the stair machine because it's about to get real. But I was looking, the Fight for Air Climb is this event that takes place all over the United States in these huge buildings, and it's not happening this year.
Well, it is just virtual.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, is that it's not happening as it normally does. It's happening virtually. So something that you might consider, and I don't have all the details on the Fight for Air Climb, but there are some charities that in a lot of ways, they make a decent chunk of their operating budget from fundraisers like that. You might be willing to poke around a little bit and maybe consider doing something virtually, even though it's not what you're used to doing.
Yeah, because they rely on it. So there's a lot of organizations that just won't get the same support, or, just because people are maybe a bit hesitant. Now, so many people got into virtual races and events last year. So hopefully, since that looks like that's going to continue this spring and into this summer, or that might just continue as always being an option. Yeah. Just for, the foreseeable future. It's good to not be afraid to try it that way. And you might actually like it better.
Yeah, you never know. I'm turning into that person who's starting to wonder, will things go back? I keep telling myself, yes, they will. Things will go back to normal. You'll see.
As someone who, I did one virtual race last summer, our RadioU 5K.
Yes, indeed.
I actually enjoyed it so much more because it takes away some of the anxiety if you don't do them too often.
Sure.
Because it's your time, your place. You're not surrounded by everybody else. It's actually sometimes, in certain cases, a nicer way to get in and try something that you would be a little bit more afraid to try on with everybody else.
I get that. But the other side of it is I have people that I only see at the Fight for Air Climb.
Oh, and you miss that.
And I miss getting a chance to see them.
And you miss the hustle and bustle of like a race day.
Yeah, it's fun. And there are a few of you that you've been doing the Fight for Air Climb with me for years, and that's always been fun. And so, it's like, it is what it is, but I would just throw out there again to consider that if you did something like that to support a charity or a nonprofit, you might give some of their virtual stuff a look because, they might still need your help.
Worst of the riot. Radio U.
I don't normally go down the rabbit hole like this, but I feel like this might be a good thing for us to talk about. I just had somebody say to me, and I've had people say it to me my whole life, you know what, Nikki, God's never going to give you more than you can handle. Mm-hmm. That's not true. Mm-hmm. It's not true for two reasons. One, there are plenty of things going in your life that God did not give you. God did not give you a flat tire. God was not like, I'm bored, flat tire. Okay, so that's one thing. And here's the other thing that you need to know. That is a misquotation of a Bible verse. Like, people get that, but it's not true. What it actually says in that space is you're not going to be tempted beyond what you can bear. God will make a way for you to escape. In other words, I get tempted to shoot Nikki. Listen, I don't have to give in to that. I don't have to. I can.
An interesting example of that one. Okay.
Well, Nikki, I don't always like to talk about it publicly.
Your feelings towards me? Okay.
Sometimes you have to get it out there.
That might have been a bit extreme of an example, but you get what he's saying.
Sometimes to make examples, we have to go to extremes.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
But I just want you to know that there is this idea out there that, okay, God's not going to give me more than I can handle, so I can handle everything that life throws at me. And you have to handle it on your own, and you have to do it by yourself, and you can't get help, and you can't whatever. That's not true. I want you to know that you are going to run into things today. Maybe not today. Maybe Thursday will be fine. But there are going to be times in your life that life is going to throw at you more than you can handle. It's going to be too much for you. And that's actually why God is there. God is available to us 24/7 so that when we come up against things that are too much for us, we can turn to him and ask him for help. God, help me with this. I can turn to Nikki and say, Nikki, help me not shoot you. Whatever it is. Again, maybe a poor example, but I think the point's getting across, okay? Just be aware of that. There are going to be things that you can't handle. Jesus is there for you in the middle of things you can't handle. And to be frank, there are going to be things that come your way that God did not send your way to test you. It's life, and it sucks, and he's going to help you get through it, period.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh, no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
Grow up, you babies!